If you're a man over 60 and the bathroom has become your nighttime companion, if your stream feels weaker, the urge hits harder, and your dignity slips a little more each week, I want you to hear this, not from a pill commercial, not from a brochure, but from me, a doctor who's walked beside men like you for over 30 years. You are not broken. You may simply be running low on what your prostate has been silently asking for all along. You see, we've been trained, by habit, by the system, by silence, to accept these struggles as part of getting old. But in my clinic, I've seen something different. I've seen men restore their strength, their sleep, their confidence, not with surgery or shame, but with science, with nourishment, with the truth. Here's the truth. There are 5 specific vitamins, yes, vitamins, that your prostate depends on to function, heal, and breathe. Most doctors don't talk about them. Many don't even test for them. But I've watched men go from 5 trips a night to 1, from a trickle to a steady stream, from avoiding social events to dancing with their wives again. And in some cases, relief starts within just 18 hours. In this video, I'll walk you through each of these 5 critical nutrients, what they are, how they work, and how to use them starting tonight. We'll look at what happens after 18 hours, after 3 days, and after 1 week. And by the end, I hope you'll realize the solution to your prostate problems may not be in a prescription bottle. It might be in your kitchen cabinet. So if you're ready to take back control, not just of your bladder, but of your nights, your confidence, your feasts, stay with me. You're not alone. And this is just the beginning.
1. Vitamin D, the anti-inflammation commander. Doc, I haven't slept through the night in over a year. That's what Bill, 72, told me the moment he sat down. Former accountant, still sharp, but the exhaustion on his face said it all. 5 times a night, every night, I feel like my bladder owns me. Most doctors would have handed him a prescription and moved on, but I asked what I always ask. What is the prostate missing? In Bill's case, the labs gave us the answer, plain and simple: severe vitamin D deficiency. Now here's what most men don't realize. Vitamin D isn't just for bones. It functions like a hormone, speaking directly to your cells. It calms inflammation, supports hormones, and improves blood flow, including in the prostate. And your prostate? It's loaded with vitamin D receptors. But when those receptors go dark, when D3 levels are low, the gland swells, stiffens, and chokes off the flow. That's how so many older men get trapped in the same cycle: urgency, weak stream, poor sleep, drained confidence. Not from aging, but from a body starving for something it once made on its own. So here's what we did. 5,000 IUs of vitamin D3 daily, paired with K2 to steer calcium into the bones, not the prostate, plus 15 minutes of morning sunlight, just enough to tell his body, "You're alive, let's heal." By day 3, the phone rang. "Doc, I slept through the night. I forgot what that felt like." That's when I knew we weren't just treating symptoms. We were restoring systems. Research backs it up. Low vitamin D equals higher risk of prostate enlargement. Restoring levels equals relief in as little as 18 to 72 hours. Long term, less inflammation, better flow, better sleep. No, it's not instant for everyone, but when it works, it can feel like flipping a switch. And yet, most doctors don't even test for vitamin D. They prescribe alpha blockers or surgeries, but skip the simplest fix of all. So if you're a man over 60 waking up all night long, before you reach for another pill, reach for a blood test. See where your vitamin D stands, because when you fix that first deficiency, everything else starts to shift. Vitamin D is the first brick, not the whole house, But without it, nothing holds. And when you give your body what it's been missing, your prostate breathes again, and so do you. 2. Vitamin E, the cellular repair mechanic. Doc, I can fix everything in my house, but I can't fix this. That's what Raymond told me. He was 68, a retired mechanical engineer who could rebuild a washing machine blindfolded. But that day, his voice cracked, a rare crack in a man used to solving problems. His issue? Urgency, weak flow, that growing fear of leaving the house and not finding a bathroom in time. He tried it all, urologists, pills, even meditation, but nothing eased that clenched fist feeling in his lower body. So I asked him, has anyone ever talked to you about vitamin E? He blinked. You mean the stuff for skin? Most people think that. But the truth is, vitamin E, especially the tocopherol form, is one of the most underrated repair agents for aging prostates. Tocophenols work like cellular mechanics. They don't just float in your blood. They dive into damaged tissue, calm inflammation, reverse oxidative stress, and restore elasticity where it matters most, inside the prostate's microscopic ducts. When I reviewed Raymond's labs, I saw he was only taking alpha tocopherol, the cheapest, least complete form. That's like trying to fix an engine with just a screwdriver. So we switched him to a full-spectrum vitamin E complex with tocophenols, mixed tocopherols, and a fat-based delivery system, because it absorbs best with foods like avocado or olive oil. Within 2 weeks, things changed. His nighttime trips dropped, his stream improved, and maybe most important, he smiled again. Doc, for the first time in months, I don't feel trapped. That's when I knew we weren't forcing function, we were restoring it. The prostate is like a sponge wrapped in muscle. As it stiffens from age and inflammation, meds bounce off. But targeted nutrients, like vitamin E, they get in. They repair, soften, and revive the tissue. It's not flashy, not a quick fix. It's a quiet mechanic, rebuilding what time has worn down. So if you're dealing with urgency, stiffness, or the creeping sense that your prostate's betrayed you, ask yourself, are you giving it the materials to rebuild? Like Raymond, you might not need a bigger solution. You might just need a better one. And vitamin E, in the right form, at the right dose, might be the repairman your body's been waiting for.
3. Vitamin C, the collagen builder and detoxifier. Doc, I used to play trumpet all night. Now I can't even make it through the night without running to the bathroom 5 times. That was Charles, 74, jazz musician, carried himself with grace, but that day he looked worn, like the rhythm of his body had lost its beat. He blamed it on age, so did his friends. But when we peeled back the layers, the root was clear: a silent vitamin C deficiency and a prostate paying the price. Most people think of vitamin C as the cold vitamin, but what they rarely hear, even from doctors, is that your prostate needs vitamin C just as much as your immune system does. Why? Because as you age, collagen production drops, and collagen isn't just for skin. It's the scaffolding that holds the prostate together. When that scaffolding weakens, the gland inflames, drainage stalls, blood flow slows, and you start waking up 5, 6, even 7 times a night, feeling like you never really emptied your bladder. Vitamin C steps in as the master builder, stimulates collagen, restoring structure, supports blood vessel health, boosting circulation. enhances glutathione, your body's natural detoxifier and antioxidant. If inflammation is the fire and oxidative stress is the smoke, vitamin C is both the fire department and the air purifier. When I put Charles on 1,000 milligrams of liposomal vitamin C morning and night, it wasn't instant. But after 10 days, he walked in lighter. His urgency eased, his sleep improved, and he said, "Doc, I feel like I'm finally exhaling again." That's what healing sounds like. Not flashy, not instant, just real. You see, most older men don't eat enough fresh produce, hydrate enough, or account for how stress and time chip away at vitamin C reserves. And the prostate, already under strain, gets left behind. But give it back what has been missing, especially the right form of C, and combine it with smart habits, less sugar, more hydration, and the prostate starts to breathe again. So if your nights are broken and urgency is stealing your calm, ask yourself, are you rebuilding or just patching cracks? Because like Charles, you may not need a new prescription, just a quiet, humble builder, and vitamin C might be it.
4. Vitamin B6, the hormone balancer. Doc, I don't feel like myself anymore. I'm tired all the time, and everything down there just feels off. That was Harold, 70, former high school football coach, tough, respected, no nonsense. But in my office that day, he was hesitant, guarded, clearly uncomfortable talking about his prostate or anything below the belt. I gave him space. Then I asked, "How's your energy, mood, drive?" He paused, then admitted the truth. Restless sleep, low motivation, foggy thinking, a stream that sputtered like an old faucet. Now this might sound like 5 different issues, but I've seen it enough to recognize the root: hormonal imbalance. And the quiet fix? Vitamin B6. Most men don't realize what happens after 60. Testosterone drops, estrogen rises, and the prostate, sensitive to both, begins to swell and slow down. That's when you start to feel off, not sick, just not right. And too often, men assume it's just part of aging. But vitamin B6, especially in its active form, P5P, pyroxidol 5-phosphate, does something powerful. Helps your liver clear out excess estrogen, supports mood and mental sharpness, and restores hormonal rhythm, not by adding hormones, but by helping your body regulate its own. With Harold, we kept it simple. 50 milligrams of P5P daily, a full-spectrum B complex, and reduced sugar and processed food, which sabotage hormone balance. 3 weeks later, he came back energized. "Doc, I'm not 20 again, but I've got my edge back." He was sleeping deeper, his stream improved, and he wasn't bracing himself every time he stood up. That's the magic of B6. It doesn't push your body, it reminds it how to function. It brings back balance, quietly but effectively. And the real kicker? Most men are low in B6 and don't even know it. Processed food, alcohol, stress, and medication slowly drain your supply until symptoms start whispering or shouting. So, if your energy is low, your sleep is off, and your prostate feels sluggish, ask yourself, is your body out of rhythm, and is B6 the switch it's missing? Because for Harold, and maybe for you, this one humble vitamin was all it took to turn the system back on.
5. Vitamin K2, the calcium gatekeeper. Doc, I've done everything. Meds, diets, even surgery. So why do I still feel like I've got a rock sitting on my bladder? That was Ed, 76. Walked in with a cane and a thick folder of lab results. Years of searching, trying, hoping. But more than anything, he looked tired. Not confused, not scared, just worn down. So I asked him what few doctors ever do. Has anyone talked to you about calcium buildup in the prostate? He blinked. Calcium? Isn't that for bones? Yes, but not only. As we age, calcium gets misdirected, and when it doesn't go where it should, it starts showing up where it shouldn't, in arteries, kidneys, and yes, in the prostate. Over time, this rogue calcium hardens soft tissue, which means the prostate becomes stiff and inflamed. Drainage slows, urine flow weakens, and men start to feel stuck, physically and emotionally. But here's the good news. Vitamin K2 acts like your body's traffic cop. It tells calcium, go to the bones and teeth, not the prostate. The MK7 form of K2, especially when paired with D3, helps prevent calcification of the prostate, keep tissue soft and functional, improve blood flow and repair, and relieve that deep internal pressure so many men describe as a weight. I added 200 mcg of K2 to Ed's regimen, alongside D3, B6, and E. No instant miracle, but by week 2, his voice changed. Doc, I don't know what that little vitamin's doing, but I don't feel stuck anymore. That word, stuck, says it all. It's not just about pee flow. It's about feeling like your body's holding you hostage. And here's the part that gets overlooked. Most men get almost no K2 from food, unless you're eating aged cheese, egg yolks, or natto, a fermented Japanese dish few Americans touch. You're probably not getting enough. Worse still, if you're taking D3 without K2, that calcium might be heading to the wrong places, making things worse. For Ed, and maybe for you, K2 wasn't a gimmick, it was the missing piece. Once calcium was redirected, blood flowed better, tissue softened, pressure eased, and the prostate could finally breathe. So if you've tried everything and still feel stuck, ask yourself, is your body misplacing calcium, and could K2 be the fix? Because sometimes the real difference between frustration and relief isn't stronger medicine, it's smarter nutrition.
6. Conclusion: the truth no one tells you after 60. If you've made it this far, thank you. Not just for listening, but for believing that change is still possible. Because here's the truth most men never hear after 60. Your prostate isn't the enemy, it's the messenger. It's been trying to tell you something for a while now. That nightly urgency, that weak stream, that pressure, that loss of confidence, that midday exhaustion, they're not just signs of aging. They're signals that your body is missing the raw materials it needs to function the way it used to. We've covered 5 powerful, overlooked nutrients your prostate quietly depends on. Vitamin D3 calms inflammation and restores flow. Vitamin E repairs damaged tissue and restores flexibility. Vitamin C builds collagen and clears toxic buildup. Vitamin B6 balances hormones and reduces estrogen overload. Vitamin K2 directs calcium away from the prostate, keeping it soft and functional. Alone, they each play a role. Together, they lay the foundation for healing, gently, naturally, and powerfully. I've seen it firsthand. Men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, sleeping through the night, standing taller, feeling in control again. Not with drugs, not with surgery, by feet in the system, not fighting it. Will this work for everyone? No. Healing is personal. But if you've been told it's too late, if you've accepted discomfort as normal, I'm here to say don't. Your body isn't broken. It's just running on empty. Start small, stay consistent, and in just a few weeks, you might find yourself sleeping deeper, peeing less, breathing easier, living better. So let me ask you, man to man, are you ready to reclaim what aging tried to take? If this message resonated with you or with someone you care about, do two simple things. Subscribe to this channel for honest, science-backed help made for men like you. And if you believe in this mission, consider a small donation. Every dollar helps me continue creating content that restores strength, dignity, and truth to men over 60. Gentlemen, you are not broken. You are not done. You're just low on fuel. Let's fill the tank and go. Dr. Jonathan Prescott.